Everything you desire is on the other side of Bodygame. Your dream physique, abs you've always wanted, more attraction from women, your wife or girlfriend being genuinely attracted to you again, financial freedom, your health's gonna improve, men will respect you. But more importantly, you will respect yourself. Bodygame is literally the first sign that you've mastered self-discipline. Self-discipline is literally the highest form of self-love. We all know this, right? Self-confidence comes from keeping those promises to yourself. Most people spend their entire lives unable to control urges and therefore never reaching their goals. The lack of self-discipline is common, and it includes, of course, excess eating, which is a very common one, whether it's crumble cookie, pizza, beer, right? Drinking alcohol, drinking liquor to the point of intoxication, constantly, overindulging in sex, chasing sex, indifference towards opportunities for self-advancement. Self-discipline is literally taking control of your entire mind and making it do what you want it to do, right? Instead of being influenced by the minds of others, even when others criticize it. Making your mind do what you don't always want to do to get to where you want to be. That is what self-discipline is, guys. A lot of times when I hear people say, "Oh, I'm bored of a diet. Oh, I don't know, I'm bored of this workout. I lack time. I don't have motivation, so I stop." That's some fucking horrible excuses, all right? Because in reality, getting to your goals requires repetition, monotony, right? To get the physical results, of course, but also it requires repetition for you to become the person you need to become. You need those mental reps. You need to overcome those hard times over and over again. That time when you want the cookie but you say no, you need to build that discipline muscle by continually saying no until it becomes habits, all right? The reality is you get to your goals. You build your chest. You build bicep, not by one rep, by multiple reps, by thousands of reps. That's how you build your biceps. That's how you build your chest. Anytime you see someone with quads, a chest, the compound effect builds self-discipline. However, it refers to when you do seemingly, small changes that compound over time. Now, this is how a lot of us end up in the direction that we don't want to be in. For example, if you're super out of shape, you're super out of weight, you have a lot of belly fat, it's because you probably added like 500 calories, per day for 5 years. Right? Just doing that literally made you gain about a pound a week for 5 years straight, which ends up being, or about a pound a month for 5 years straight, which ends up being about 60 pounds. That's what happens. So when you utilize the power of the compound effect in the correct direction, you will see significant explosive growth. All right. When you actually, cut back on 500 calories or cut back on 1,000 calories per day for even a 6-month period, you'll see the benefits, right? The compound effect made me realize the importance of consistency, but also that if I never give up, it's literally impossible to fail. Let me read you a quote here by Darren Hardy, the actual author of The Compound Effect. He says, "You only need to take a series of tiny steps consistently over time to radically improve your life." Which is just insane, because it's literally mind-blowing for most of us coming from this instant gratification world, because most of us think that we need dramatic changes like keto, like carnivore, or eating only 1,500 calories a day, or eating 1,200 calories a day, doing 20K steps a day every single day in order to get to our results, when in reality the reason we're not at our results is because we have the wrong habits, and it's small little things that we're doing on a daily basis. Like I said, maybe you're adding extra ice cream after your dinner because you have a quote-unquote sweet tooth. If you cut that out consistently, you'd lose fat over time, right? And another thing is just learning. Like the book just taught me that learning failure is okay, or the book taught me that failing is okay. All right, you learn through failure, right? You have to realize that failure is your teacher. It's a prerequisite to success. All right, when you fail, you learn. If you see me looking at my pages, because this is actually an entry from my journal. Like, I actually typed all this out from my journal because I was thinking one day and I was like, what keeps people from actually becoming successful? What keeps people from being successful on something as straightforward as a fitness journey? And I don't mean people, I mean literally 95% of the population is out of shape, right? Obviously, everyone's not 28% body fat, but you do have the skinny fat people who are like 15% body fat, but they only have like 5 pounds of muscle. I'm exaggerating, but there's a lot of that, right? So this is from my journal entry. Anyways, what you have to realize when it comes to failure, like I said, it's a prerequisite to success. It means you're trying. That's a good thing. When you fail, you literally learn. The reason I reach my goals and others don't isn't because I'm more successful than them. Technically it is, but it's because I fail more than them and I get back up, right? I failed more than you've even tried when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to working out. I failed everything that I failed more than you've even tried when it comes to literally anything regarding nutrition, working out, building a business. I failed more times. That's the reason I can see success, because I found out all the ways to fail, and I'm like, damn, if I just keep finding different ways to fail, eventually I'm going to succeed. Even with this camera shit, like, I failed so many times. I'm getting better. I still suck, but I'm getting better. I'm getting much better over time, but it's because I've literally I spend all my days failing in some aspect of life because I'm learning from that failure. All right. The only way to get better in general is to try, and the only way to avoid failure is to not try. That's why you have to realize, like I just said, failure is a prerequisite to success. All right, literally, because you see the Eagles this year. They didn't go undefeated. Most Super Bowl teams do not go undefeated. They lose at least a couple of games, and it builds character. Right? They go through adversity. In the playoffs, in the AFC Championship game or an NFC Championship game, you might be down in the first half, but you come back in the second half. If you gave up after the first half, you would have lost. But you might win that, and then that'll teach you how to overcome failure, and now you end up winning the Super Bowl. You see what I'm saying? So remember that smart choices over time make a huge difference. For me personally, it was literally just focusing more on nutrition. All right, so many people focus a lot on working out and doing extra cardio, and I was like, if I can just make slight changes in my nutrition, no, I won't see a big difference after the first month, but 6 months later I'll be able to sustain it, and I'll also be able to see the difference, obviously, because it's compounding over time. Like when you see my results, I show you guys my results a lot, and you guys are like, oh my god, it's so amazing. But in reality, I mean, if you average it out, it's losing about 1 inch off my waist per month, right? And obviously the first month I lost the most. So it was just about being consistent and showing up day in and day out, because you're not going to lose 6 inches off your waist in 1 month if you have a little bit to lose. You see what I'm saying? Body fat wise, you're not going from 25% to 10% in 1 month. So you have to be very, very consistent with that. You have to remember that the only way to climb a staircase of 100 steps is literally start with the first one. I know that sounds corny, but when you really start thinking about your fitness journey that way, it's going to become easier, because a lot of times we hesitate to even step because we know there's 100 steps, but what you don't realize is the time is going to pass regardless. So why not start the process now by taking that first fucking step? All right, take the first fucking step. All right, and we all know this. Our concept of time is messed up when it comes to fitness, because it takes us, like I said, 5 to 10 years to gain all the fat. However, when we have, when we put in 1 year, well, not even 1 year to be honest, when we put in 1 week or 1 month of work, like as far as nutrition, and do the bare minimum, we want to see insane results. That's not realistic at all. All right, how do you get a bachelor's degree, guys? It doesn't take 4 hours. Like I said, it takes 4 fucking years. We understand that, but for some reason we want results in 4 hours. Like, we're literally in a calorie deficit for a day and we expect to lose 100 pounds. It's not going to happen. All right, I always like to go back to my client Serena. She lost 110 pounds plus in 12 months, right? And initially she was so focused on losing the 100 pounds, she was so focused on the results, that it seemed overwhelming. And every time she stepped on the scale, obviously she's not going to be 100 pounds down, after the first day, after the first week. So every time she stepped on the scale and she didn't see that number that she wanted to see, she really it really irritated her. But I shifted her perspective and made sure that I made her realize that, listen, it's not about you losing the weight because you've lost it before and gained it back. It's about you becoming the person that can lose the weight and keep it off. But also, it's about you doing habits that are sustainable. We're not going to do keto, which she was surprised by. I didn't give her a lot of cardio, which she was like, I don't know if this is going to work. But after 3 months, she was at 25 to 30 pounds down, and she was like, oh, this is not enough. And I was telling her, I was like, yo, that's on pace to reach your 100-pound goal by the end of the year. Just keep it pushing and pace yourself. Pacing yourself is so, so important in this journey. Sometimes we need someone else to see that perspective for us, or sometimes we need to journal like I do, so you can actually see and be objective. Because a lot of times I can't be objective. I'm like, dang, man, this isn't working. Then I look objectively. I'm like, oh, shit, it is working. On paper, it's working. It is working. It's just I'm in the process, and I'm so fixated on it that I'm looking for overnight results. You see what I'm saying? So when I switched to her changing like small habits and making sure they're sustainable and really pacing herself and focusing on the process instead of the results, that's when she was able to, put it together and become that person that she needed to become. Because in reality, guys, the results are always going to come when you do the work. So why focus on the results without doing the work? just focus on the work. The results are going to come. It's really not that deep. Like I know a lot of people are always saying things like, man, it's not fair. I've been working hard for 2 months. That's not a long time. It's not a long time. Unless you're 2 months old, then yeah, that makes sense. Like if you're 2 months old and you've been on a diet for 2 months, it's kind of crazy. But you're probably like 40 years old and you're complaining about eating what you're supposed to for 2 months, eating what's better for your health, eating what's going to give you energy, eating what's going to make you your goal self, eating what's going to give you mental clarity, eating what's going to get you to see your abs for the first time. You're complaining about that. That's a third world problem. You're not even doing anything crazy. You're not training for an ultra marathon. You're not, training for bodybuilding competition. You're literally trying to lose excess fat because, you're like 50% body fat. It's literally a requirement and you're complaining about it. It's crazy to me. All right. But anyways, that's what I wanted to say about the compound effect. Me personally, I read the compound effect every year. That book literally changed my life. But the power of the compound effect, someone asked me this question and I was like, dude, this is literally my favorite book. I can't just answer a question in a Q&A about it. I have to like literally go into depth about it. But the power of the compound effect is so significant because, like I said, I always know I'm going to win because I have patience. All right, what a lot of people lack. I'm gonna do the same shit over and over and over again, getting those minimal, what looks like minimal results in the short term, but in the long term, it's gonna be huge results. Like for example, usually when I start a cut, if I lose a pound, it's up. That's all I need to see. All I need to see is a pound lost. I'm good to go. As soon as I see that pound lost, I'm good to go. So, like for example, if I'm trying to get to 10% body fat and I'm at 20, I know as long as I lose 1% every 2 weeks, that within 5 months I'll be at my goals. And bam, 5 months I'm at my goals. But so many people get fixated on being at their end goal in the beginning that they never even get there.